Yeah. Hi, everyone. Today I am very excited. I am starting a new type of content where I am trying to bring industry experts onto this channel, do a bit of podcast and discuss about their stories, how they have got into DevOps and cloud. And that's how I believe a lot of people, you can get inspiration, you can learn about DevOps and cloud, understand how people got into this, how they learned, what are the industry trends, and we'll also, because we are inviting industry experts, we'll understand what is it, how can freshers or somebody at entry level can get into this technology. And also, a lot of people I see are switching from who have some IT experience and switching into DevOps and cloud. So that is the objective of this podcast, and this is the first episode, and we'll have more people. But what a good timing, and that I don't have to introduce the guest today. You all know him, and the Singam of DevOps and cloud is something people know you, right? Hi, Praveen. Welcome to the channel, and thank you so much for accepting my invite.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's really good, Sanjeev, to be on your channel, and thank you, everyone, those who are watching us, both of us, right? So myself, Praveen, I have a total of 7+ years of experience and currently working with the Walmart. Right. Prior to that, I was working with Verizon, and prior to that, I was working with Infosys. So my journey is something kind of like from a service base to a product base to cracking 25 organization where you see like EPAM, your Informatica, SAP, your Amazon, your Walmart, and many other companies are there in the list. And that's where it ignited, like, why not I share the knowledge what I have, right? So that's where my channel got started. So people are getting help, and similarly, you have your own channel, Sanjeev, where you are doing amazing. So in a short, I'm actually a teacher and mentor. I teach to more than, like, I have taught to more than 10,000 students right now, and I'm still working on that to scale it up to larger extent. And on a little bit of briefer side, to be more precise, I'm also a content creator, right? And I make content on DevOps, on LinkedIn also, and Instagram also. So definitely check out all those things. And again, thank you, Sanjeev. So in a
Yeah,
brief,
so
this is about
we
my.
will have all the thanks, Praveen. We'll have the details in the description so people can go and check it out. Most of them would know about your channel. You don't need any sort of introduction, but uh, I wanted to check, Praveen, like how did you get into the content creation and YouTube? Was it a like a deliberate attempt because you are into a full-time job, right? So how do you find time? How do you do all so many things?
Okay, so I think this is the question where few of the students have LinkedIn DM me and also mailed me also, but frankly, replying that much paragraph is little bit difficult. So thanks for asking the very first question, straightforward question. So when I started my job search in 2021, right, and that's where I got 25 offers with me. And when I first posted on LinkedIn, like I got selected in Walmart, people were DMing me like anything. At that time, I had 1,000 followers. I used to send connection requests to people. And what happened, like, people started asking me, Praveen, how you achieved, what are the process, how to get a referral, all those things. So that's where the first start of the post happened. And when you post something on LinkedIn, always you have in your backend mind, like, my manager will see the post, my peer will see the post, what will he think? So that kind of mindset I had. And to post the first post itself, I got very much like, what you say, like, fear to post that. Once I posted, I got many comments, and seeing those comments, it really made me happy. And slowly what I did, I thought, like, okay, knowledge, let's do a knowledge sharing. So every weekend I used to sit and teach to the students, like Monday to Friday I used to prepare content. Like, that's how it started. So I used to prepare slides, projects, and within 2 months I got a good number of people supporting me. And they only asked me, like, Praveen, why don't you start your YouTube channel where you get your recorded sessions? So in LinkedIn, I used to do in Microsoft Teams only, but they didn't get recordings. Those who joined, they used to watch. So that's where I started YouTube. And coming on to managing work and content creation, it's literally very difficult. So if you see, if I tell the today's thing only, 3 hours I was in session, then 1 hour into other podcast, then with you, then with some other thing. So it's like packed. But what I would say is, if you have that motivation to work, right? I like basically sharing the knowledge. I like teaching people, right? So that's where it started, and I will definitely continue that. To be very frank, it's literally hard to manage work and your content creation, right? But I spend my both Saturday and Sunday on this only, to be precise. So
Right.
that's how it works.
Yeah. I hope people will understand, it's on a weekend, a person has to spend so much time, both the days into content creation. I believe, somebody who wants to get into it would understand how much effort it takes, and people who are watching the content also will appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, like you have seen, a service company, you have also seen the product companies, and you are talking to a lot of people who you are helping them getting into DevSecOps, DevOps, cloud, helping them get job. What sort of industry trends do you see nowadays? Like what people can take away from this discussion? Uh, is something changing? What sort of things are happening right now? We hear a lot of noise, right? Like there are layoffs happening in US, tech companies, all that. What is the real picture?
Correct. So coming on to like when we talk about on real terms, on ground terms, right? We never know what will happen on our backend, right? We cannot predict future, what will be our future. But what I can say is, if you always prepare yourself, like I always teach to students, so I am very much knowledgeable on my previous work as well as the current work. But suppose I don't have the content creation in my hand, I would have forgot all the things what I have done, right? So what I would say is, if you have any knowledge, document it, right? That's where it will help you in the future also. You can share to your peers. At the same time, you can have your reference, create a GitHub repository. Now these are some things which will help you, even though layoff is happening, even though someone is telling you like go away from my company, even though someone is telling you like okay, you cannot work here, you go to some other company. Companies will hire you based on your stacks, based on your how you are helping others. That's where they look at you. And coming on to this layoffs and all, it will happen and it will continue to a while. How we can come out from that is, one is you prepare documents, you prepare your knowledge base of your own knowledge. Keep doing the projects from other people. Wherever you get some free resources, save it in your GitHub repository, so that later point of time you can search it. At the same time, you should be aware of like DevOps, SRE. Like first came DevOps, then slowly emerging tech came into like SRE, site reliability engineering. Now if you see, all the top product based companies are behind the SREs. They want their systems to be reliable. Now DevOps is like automation someone has done. Now who is maintaining those systems in a reliable way is what company is looking. And if you see the further trend, according to me, like I talk with various industry tech leaders, so people are looking more of like data ops, ML ops, right? Or chat ops. So these kind of things, like even not only in DevOps and SRE field, but I think in every field, due to the emerging tech, people needs to always grow. So learn, grow, and have your own knowledge base will help you to come out of this situation.
Right, right. So you mentioned a lot of DevOps, chat ops, data ops. So these things will keep happening. People get, uh, diverted because of these technology things. And so start with what came first, and then it is a easy progression. And
Correct.
things will keep happening. Like there will be cost cutting in the companies, and you will have to evolve and keep learning. Nice thing you mentioned about the documentation part. Like,
Yes.
I see a lot of people doing some of them will have GitHub, but the people don't document what they are doing. So it is
Correct.
a good learning. Like when you go to job, that's the first thing you will start with, something you will document, and then you will create something. So
Correct. Yeah.
that's a very good advice. So what sort of advice or what sort of trend do you see in terms of people who are entering into DevOps or entering into DevOps and cloud? What sort of suggestions would you have for them? How can they get into that entry level job? Like some people in my channel are complaining that we are not getting the entry level jobs. That's where the struggle is. There are still openings for experienced people, but not so many for the entry level. So what do you
Correct.
suggest for them?
Correct, definitely. So now, if you see in India, the trend is it's like more kind of 2+ years or 3+ years people are looking for. But to be frank, there are jobs. Now, I will tell some websites where I particularly see are very much happy by taking very high salaries as a freshers, right? Now, there is an Inspire app which we have. Now, if you go and register yourself, all the companies are startups there, right? So Inspire is basically for startups where you see 20 to 50 people. Now, being a fresher, you only have to learn. You don't need to, on your backend, you don't need to have KR, what salary I will get, what salary he will pay, he or she as a company will pay, or what I'm going to learn. Nothing you should have. You should have only the goal of getting a job. That's it. Go to Inspire, apply the job. Go to LinkedIn. In the LinkedIn job section, what you call like filter out the criteria for internships. You will get some internships. Now, see, whenever you start for a job, right? It's not like in 1 week you get a job or in 10 days you target and get a job. It's always a constant progress, right? Even if you see my friends, right, they apply to 10 jobs and they feel exhausted. No, never. You have to have in your mind the notion that you should be getting a job and you should be supporting your family. That is what the end goal is, and you should keep on trying. Fail, try. That's where I learned from my journey, right? Even if you ask, I was kicked out of a project in first company, but with the help of like, okay, I need to get back, right? That's how I am here, right? So you all should know that, okay, if we fail, that's completely fine, but keep on trying, enhance your resume, get some things, add it in your resume, 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, skills bejo market mein. That's what I would say. If the more you sell yourself, the better opportunities you get.
Correct, correct. And don't be afraid of if failures, right? That's a good point. I see even in my channel, I keep suggesting, keep trying for the interviews, do mock interviews, do real interviews, whatever like it takes to get to that first job, and then things will be much more smoother because then you are going to apply as a experienced person in future. So things will be different. So what about for that community which is slightly experienced in IT? Maybe they are in test automation, maybe network engineer. You would have been meeting all sort of profiles, right?
Correct.
They are also kind of confused, right? They see a lot of jobs not in their industry, but they see a lot of DevOps and cloud jobs. So they
Yeah,
also
correct.
want to get into this space, right? Everybody wants some share out of it. So what do you
Correct.
suggest for that community which is experienced and looking into DevOps and cloud?
Correct. So definitely, it's one of the good question that you have asked. So if you see myself, I was a Java developer, then tester, then DBA, then DevOps in my first company. So being a service-based company, I am coming from a service-based company. I was having all the freedom to select, like go and select whatever the project you can work on. If I am free, I used to jump, like my manager used to put me in Java testing, development, and finally I selected DevOps because I felt like, okay, this is what the growth I am looking at, right? So for whoever is thinking that you are into tester or you are into DBA or you are into like storage management, like in Dell or your Deloitte, you have your storage management people or your BPO, any sort of person can definitely convert into DevOps, provided what type of projects you are keeping in your resume. That does only matter, and how you present yourself, right? Suppose you have 5 years of experience into testing. So tester is also a DevOps engineer, because at the back end, you need to know Java code, you need to know some tools because you will be using Selenium or you will be using BTT or you will be integrating with Sonar, some kind of tools you should be having, right? Knowledge. So what I suggest to my community or those who are watching us, if you are 5 years, put like 3 plus 2, 3 years into testing, 2 years into DevOps, or 2.5 into 2.5, or like 3.5, 1.5, or 4 plus 1. Whatever the confidence you have that, okay, I can crack DevOps. Yes, you can definitely crack. Now, if I go to a slighter higher experienced person, like 10 years, you can definitely become DevOps lead. Like 8 plus 2 is what I suggest, or 7 plus 3. Like you have to divide your skill set. Don't go directly into DevOps. Everything you cannot learn from scratch, right? Make sure, like, because 10 years is like a lead position, right? So you should be knowing like what type of projects you need to make sure in your resume you have, so that companies select. So that's what I would suggest. Divide your career into smaller chunks so that you better explain them in a good quality way.
Right, right. And also you already have some experience. You are part of that industry. It's easy for you to justify that, right? You just have to
Correct.
tweak it slightly and you don't have to compete with a lot of freshers. Otherwise, you can you can sell yourself. That's a good point. Like based on your confidence, but how do you build that confidence? What can those people can do to build that that sort of
Yes.
thing?
Yes. So
One thing I have seen a lot of YouTube channels and people are getting into very basic sort of projects. Like they
correct.
will deploy maybe a one container or deploy an EC2 instance in a public subnet and be very happy that that now they are expert in Terraform. Or what do you suggest? Like how can they build that confidence?
Correct. So to be frank, I always make sure like whatever the community gets, right, they get on a higher level. Now, DevOps doesn't know like if you deploy two microservices, how they talk with each other, how actually the interaction is happening, how the Kubernetes pods are getting created, how they are talking with each other. As you told, deploying EC2 instances, just they are happy, right? So what I suggest, wherever you see that keyword real-time scenarios, right? Watch that, get that document, make sure you are working on that. And LinkedIn, right, people are like sharing good knowledge. As far as I have seen in the last few months, people are sharing very good projects which can be directly kept in your resume. Apart from that, you can check my channel also, where I only talk about real time. I never talk about like basics, because basics can be acquired by anyone. If you just Google it, you can get it. But where people are lacking is the real time examples, real time questions, real time projects. So make sure you watch anyone's YouTube channel, whatever you like, or LinkedIn. Be active on LinkedIn. Whoever is DevOps, just follow them and get the content from them.
Right. So build real-time projects, build slightly complex projects which are used in the industry. That's how you get the confidence.
Yes,
And you
exactly.
just have to justify maybe 1 year, 2 year from your last experience, and you are good to go, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Praveen, before you go, like I wanted to talk about like some sort of roadmap for a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer. There are so many tools uh, at CI level, even for infrastructure provisioning, and there are so many clouds. So I just, from this discussion, if somebody wants to take away key points, how would you suggest how to compress this so many tools around? So what sort of small sort of roadmap that you say, okay, essentially you definitely need this, and this is an
Correct.
optional thing.
Correct. So basically, according to my experience, whatever I have seen in the service and the product based organization, always, maybe if any student comes to me, I tell that divide your tech or the tools into two parts. Part A should be your tools, part B should be your cloud. The part B cloud can be any cloud, whatever you are looking at good, right? If you take AWS, you take it, Azure, you take it, or GCP, you take it. No one is stopping you, because at the end, backend is same, your terminology is same, but only thing is the name is changing. Coming on to the front end, where the tools are important, right? Whatever I have seen, I will tell. In this part A tools, there are few tools which are very much important. Like you take Jenkins, where every organization wherever I have worked are using Jenkins. You take next tool as your build tool, Maven, right? Next tool you take GitLab or your GitHub, where you store your code. Next tool can be your security tool. Let's take like Black Duck, Checkmarks, Fortify. So what I say, if you see the flow diagram, right? DevOps, if I keep one, then it comes like monitoring, build, right? Security, right? Then your cloud. So under this, you need to define like one tool each part, right? Now, once security is completed, then you have your JFrog where you keep your binary. Then it comes Ansible, how you create your automation infrastructure. Then Terraform, how you integrate, how you create your infrastructure. Then your Kubernetes, right? Your cloud deployments or whatever it is. And also make sure with part A and part B, you are adding Linux admin tasks also, which is very much important. How you make your Linux work, how you create your server, how you patch your server. So all those things are important in today's world.
Awesome. So that should be a roadmap for anyone who wants to get into it, and rest of the things maybe once they get into a job or what relevant that their employer is asking, that can be their
Correct.
short-term roadmap from there onwards. I
Exactly.
think that's a very good point. And Praveen, if I summarize everything, it's like you are suggesting people to build complex projects, build
Yes.
real-time scenarios, build and document the things that
Correct.
you are doing, have your GitHub repository. People who are freshers can look for internships, those sort of opportunities. A lot of internships are available through LinkedIn. Insta Hire is one platform that you suggested that people should look for getting DevOps and cloud related. And then you provided a very nice detailed roadmap for everyone. So that's pretty much I wanted to get today. Maybe in another future session we'll go deep down. What sort of content are you going to create? I know you have promised Mongo to be worked upon, and
Correct.
anything you want to add before we close?
Yes, actually, I'm planning one more series also, right? And that will be launched soon. Like I started, my channel started itself with a boot camp where I started free boot camp, right? That 2 months, the support you all gave or any other person, right? It was immense. Then I started web dev with DevOps, where I introduced like people only think like learning tools is enough. People should know like how Java works, how coding works, what is pom.xml, what is repository, all those things. So I shared that. Now I am thinking like people should know few things. Even I should prepare and I should tell, right? So I am just taking little bit of time so that I am nowhere wrong going wrong. So definitely some good things are on my channel. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. We all are looking forward to your content and wish you best of luck. And yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sanjeev. Same to you, and thank you everyone for those who are watching us. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Right, Sanjeev is also creating great content. Thanks a lot, Sanjeev.
Thank you. Thanks, Praveen. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.